check we can hear each other. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool, I can't hear you.
Oh.
Which means you're not talking loud enough.
Can you hear me now?
So move the mic down a bit. So you have to really forcefully talk.
Can you hear me now?
I can now, yeah. If you can't hear yourself, that means I haven't heard you.
Okay.
Because the microphone has to activate.
Understood. Thank you.
Turn this off because I use my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Good to go.
We are. Welcome everyone, this is Mohammed. We're going to go for a little flight to Popham and back just for a little lunch. First time Mohammed's flown in a small aircraft like this, so it'll be a lovely experience. It's an awesome day. Not a cloud in sight, not much wind really, so it should be fairly straightforward and simple. A nice little flight. Hopefully I've not just jinxed us. Right.
It's a beautiful day.
So flaps set to 0. Main fuel tap is on. Throttle exercised and set all the way back. All switches were off. Master is on. Charge is on. Engine is cold, so we're going to just quickly. I'm going to take my headset off for start, if that's all right. Clear Pro. I'll get the choke off. Make sure that's off. Ignitions are off. So we've got oil pressure, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to go for ignitions on. Clear Pro! And it should start. There we go, lovely engine start. Just advance the power to 2000 RPM, start the engine warming up. We need 50 degrees on the oil temperature before we taxi. Radio frequencies are set as we need them. Route, start again. We're going to fly from Landmead Farm down to Popham. Fly. Make sure we're in the right aircraft on my Sky Demon. Which I don't think we are at the minute. Where are we? Sky Ranger. There we go. Use this aircraft. Perfect. Fly. Location services done. Cool, that's all set up. We're just waiting for the engine to warm up now, really. It shouldn't take too long, it's a nice warm day. So we're going to use runway 09 today, so what we're going to do, we're going to taxi over there, because the windsock's pointing that way, we're going to take off into the wind. So we're going to go to the end, turn around and take off the other way. So we'll actually, when we depart, we'll depart up and we'll do a slight left turn, because there's a model flying field just over there. So we do a left turn to avoid them. This is the cockpit. It's a really simple but modern cockpit. We've got electronic. We've got the dials. They've all got an outer dial, but they've also got an electronic readout as well, which is quite cool. It's actually a really modern aircraft. This is a 2022 model. Okay. So it is really quite new. We're getting another one at some point soon.
And it's got everything that you need.
Sorry?
It's got everything that you need.
Everything we need.
Yeah.
The only thing it doesn't have is an artificial horizon, but you don't need that because you only fly this in visual conditions. You can't fly at instrument, so you don't need an artificial horizon because we can see the actual horizon, and we use the nose of the aircraft to define our horizon. But yeah. So if at any time you don't hear yourself speak, especially when we're flying, I can't hear you. Okay, you have to. I've got used to it, but you have to forcefully speak to activate the microphone, because I've got it set so that the wind won't activate it. So it'll only activate when you purposely activate it, basically. So what we're waiting for is 50 degrees on the oil temperature, yeah. What we'll do, we'll push that in because we don't need cabin heat. got a heater that uses the engine to warm some air, and it blows in by your feet. But I don't think we need that right now.
It's a beautiful weather today.
Yeah, I've opened the little vents so that we've got a bit of airflow once we close the windows.
Yep.
Because the only problem with flying with the windows open, you collect loads of bugs along the front of the window.
Okay.
And you have to clean them at the end.
Yeah.
It's like mass murder of bugs.
Especially when I went to uni, I studied insects.
Studied what, sorry? Insects?
Insects, yeah. And
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
I've got a degree in it's called entomology, which is
okay.
the insect science, really.
Oh, okay, yeah, you definitely don't want us killing lots of insects.
Although I was trained to do one.
Oh, okay. Oh, that windsock's moved a bit. Yeah, I think it's still generally Boeing for 09, so we'll definitely use 09. Just waiting for it. As soon as it gets off the stop, we can go, because it will carry on warming up as we taxi. It's a reasonable taxi to the end of the runway now, so.
Yep.
We're not really going to talk to anyone until we get to Popham, to be honest. So let's have a look what Popham rate 129885. Ah, whoever was in this morning went to Popham as well, because they've got the radio standbys already on Popham. So they went to Popham for breakfast. We're going for lunch.
We're going for lunch.
That's quite cool. Popham will be like they'll see the same aircraft. No wonder.
And that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
This is Landmead Farm, so Landmead traffic is him telling. So we're on what's called safety com. So there's no defined frequency for this airfield, so we use the safety com. It's like a universal frequency for farm strips and uncontrolled stuff. But he was saying he's inbound, so we might see him. It might be the helicopter that's flying around, because they fly gazelles here. Right, we're sure we're not left the stop yet. Any minute now. But it's important to have all the dials within at least the yellow arcs before we take off.
Yep.
It's quite a warm day, so the aircraft will warm up quickly once we get flying. Does that look like it's moving to you yet? I think that is moving very slowly towards the 50 on the oil temperature. Yeah.
Slightly below the white line.
Yeah. As soon as it hits that white line, taxi off. I think that's creeped on the white line. Do you think that's on the white line? I think that is.
It is. Yeah, almost
yeah, there we go.
Almost there, yeah.
Landmead traffic, Golf Charlie Mike This is the smoother of our runways.
Okay.
It's got a lovely speed hump in the middle there, you'll see, we'll go over it in a sec. But we should be airborne before that, to be fair. So we'll take off, we'll fly along the ground to about 60 knots, then we'll start to climb, and a little bit of a left-hand turn on departure.
Yep.
So we should be somewhere up and to our right at the minute. Trying not to, it gets very bumpy if you taxi too fast on grass. Trying to take that into account and not taxi too fast. We also don't want to damage the nose gear.
Yeah.
Alright, should we shut our windows? So if you pull it to, turn that and then turn the front one, that's it. And that's the window locked. It's a nice fresh day, but it's still a little chill in the air.
Yeah. If it's windy, then it's a bit chilly.
Yeah.
There's lots of air coming in when you're sitting in a plane with open windows.
Yeah.
Definitely a very beautiful day in April.
Yeah.
Don't get these.
A little bit of power to get up this slope. This is our longest runway. I think it's long enough that you could actually, in theory, bring a PA-28 or a Cessna in here without too much trouble. Landmead traffic, Golf Charlie Mike Lima X-ray. We are in the run-up area, 09, and we will do the run-up if you want to land.
No, fine, thank you. I'll stay behind.
Okay, no worries, we'll be 1 minute. Right then. Face into wind.
Yeah.
Roughly there. Right, engine is warmed up, good. So we're well above 50 now.
Yep.
So during taxi I was checking the brakes work, I checked the slip ball and the compass was doing what it was supposed to do. Parked into wind, we're in a safe direction, brakes locked, throttle is set, we're already warm, so check the control surfaces. So I just need I'll need to move this quite freely, and I'll also need to move this quite freely. So feel free, I'll put you as far back as possible, slip your legs down, you can rest your feet, if you rest your heels on that metal bar, rest your heels on that metal bar. Yeah, or tuck your feet under the pedals like that.
Like this?
Either way, either like that or under the pedals like that. Now just point your toes, there you go.
Yep.
Cool. Check the flaps. There's one. 1 and 2 working, good. I'm nice and strapped in, you're nice and strapped in. I've got some loose items in the front there, but they'll be fine where they are. Instruments left to right, but reading 0, that's set to the QNH. Tachometer's working, radios are set, we're in the green on pressure, we're in the yellow coming into green on oil temperature, we're in the green on cylinder head temperature, and we are in the green on voltage. We'll put the fuel pump on. The content is sufficient for what we're doing. Trim is set about neutral for takeoff. I do a little mag check, so I'll hold the brake, I'm going to just put the power on a bit. Let it settle, and then I want less than 200 drop when I turn the magneto off. That's less than 200, about 100 drop that, about 90. And same on that side, so that's fine, they're both working just fine. Engine temperature is 50, we're good at idle, and we're good for takeoff. Cool, we're going to get airborne so we don't get in his way too much. Landmead traffic, Golf Charlie Mike Lima X-ray takeoff 09, Landmead traffic. Right. Gonna get us into the centre of the runway. Right, all happy? Away we go. There we go. exactly, yeah. So how would be able to teach you, get your license?
No, that would be really nice.
That'd be good. If he's not busy afterwards, you could have a serious chat with him about starting if you enjoy this.
If you got some minutes, that would be really great.
Yeah. Obviously, like I said, this can't be a lesson, but it's more of an experience. To make sure you're okay with flying in this kind of aircraft, I guess. Obviously, on a windier day, it feels a lot. You get more bumpy, but you get used to it over time, and it's just like riding a wave. If you're on a boat, it's exactly the same. You don't need to fight it. It's just like riding an air wave. Let's just say. So if we do open the windows on our way, which we could do, all I'll say is don't put your phone anywhere near the airstream, because it will disappear and you'll never see it again. Some farmer will get a lovely present at some point. Lovely and sunny. Need a sunshade, really.
Yeah. But with these mustard patches, yellow patches, they look so brilliant from there, you know.
Yeah.
But you can't have it like this kind of view from anywhere else.
No, yeah. This is like a perfect flying day. You can even the visibility is like.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see about 50 miles there. It's incredible. Incredible. a turn, I have to actually, so I put a right rudder in for a right turn, and then that keeps the nose where it should be, and I'm keeping this little ball in the middle.
In the middle, so play
Yeah.
level then.
Yeah, and then back to the left, I'm doing left, left aileron, comes up to bring the left wing down, and a bit of left rudder, and then coming out of the turn, a bit of right rudder. Even flying straight along, because of the rotation of the propeller, if I don't do any rudder, we're not even flying straight and level. If I don't put rudder in, the ball won't stay in the middle, so I have to have a little bit of right rudder pressure the whole time. And then you've got an elevator on the back which controls your pitch. So you pull back, you pitch up, and you push forward. So never do this aggressively, or else it will feel horrible, because you'll be pulling negative G, so you'll actually be lighter, and you'll start coming out your seat. Yeah, it's all great. You see how little I'm having to move the stick to actually.
Gentle movement basically.
Very gentle. And what I've got here, that's a trim tab. So if we let go of the stick, let's see what the aircraft does. I'm putting the rudder in to keep us level, and let go of the stick. Do you see how our noses are climbing or descending? That's because my trim is set for this airspeed. If I trim up, I'm trimming for a lower airspeed, so it's going to pitch up until it hits that airspeed, then it will level off. So ideally I'll trim it for 70 knots again. And what that does, that stops you having constant pressure to keep the nose level. They have a helicopter over there.
But you need to make sure that you're looking around yourself.
So I'm constantly doing a lookout, left, right. So the way I do it, I look left, right, straight, and then it's like a zigzag pattern with my eyes like this to check. You actually spot aircraft in your peripherals before you'll spot them by looking at them. Because it's the movement, and your peripherals are really good at spotting the movement. On a day like this, it's really easy. You can see that ages away because it's a black dot against the blue sky. But if we had, let's say we were near an aircraft now and it was slightly below us, sometimes they've left or blended, and it's hard to see against terrain.
So you basically control most of the aircraft through your stick and then obviously your
Yeah, so
rudder pedal.
through the stick, and then the rudder pedals is sort of balancing what I'm doing with the stick. In a PA, big aircraft over there. In a PA-28, the wings, they're antihedral or dihedral. The wings basically come out of the aircraft and point slightly up. And because of that, you don't actually need any rudder in the turns because it naturally stabilises itself. Whereas in a high wing aircraft, it's a bit different. And the wings on this, they're flat. There's no up or down angle to them. What they have got on the end of the wingtips on this aircraft, when you have a look on top, it's got little winglets, and what that's designed to do is make you stable in slow speed flight. And they sound really busy, I'll do an overhead join. So that's 1,000 feet above the circuit height. I'll basically fly over the runway numbers where we're going to land. I'll turn left, so I'll do a downwind on the wrong side to descend down the circuit height, and then I'll join on the crosswind over the opposite end of the runway to then turn left again and be at the right height in the circuit on the downwind lane. And that's the standard way of going to an airfield, really. But it's a judgment call. If it's not busy, there's no need to do all that. You've got the airfield info, so you could you just join the downwind and join a relevant part of the circuit. You can join straight pump in this engine, it's mechanically driven by the engine, but there's also an electric fuel pump that you turn on for takeoff and landing, so that if your fuel pump fails, you've still got a fuel pump on the go. Yeah. I'd say this aircraft's much nicer, much more modern, and probably safer than flying a PA-28 if I'm honest. And the visibility in the aircraft, because it's a high-wing aircraft, it's amazing. Yeah, whereas if you look at some of my other videos in PA-28s, the wings is a low-wing aircraft, so the wing blocks a lot of your visibility on the ground.
But right now you can basically see that you're just hovering above the ground really, and you don't feel anything.
Yeah.
And this is Charlie lining up. So what is this something called?
This is a Sky Ranger Ninja 600. So it's actually it's an upgraded version of the Sky Ranger Ninja.
Happy with the 10-degree turn after takeoff to avoid the garage.
It's got 100 horsepower, but the maximum weight is 600 kilos, so that 100 horsepower moves you quite well.
Yep.
Got Lima X-ray overhead, descended this one.
Got Lima X-ray, Roger.
Right, we don't need to go too far out because we can descend reasonably fast. So we're going idle power, I'm keeping the speed so we lose the altitude.
Runway 08, left-hand circuit, QNH 1025.
And we're going to be landing on the runway that he's taking off on.
Okay, fine. 08, left-hand circuit, covered. And this is M4?
Yes. No, it might, is it M4 or M3?
M3, okay.
Might be the M3. Yeah, that's the M3.
M3, okay.
That's Basingstoke over there.
Okay, yeah.
Fine, almost down to 800 feet. Start to turn across. Could see that aircraft a bit closer to us on our left now. Where is it?
Go back there.
Oh, he might be above us now, to be fair.
Yeah. Go back there. Reporting traffic. They're reporting traffic. Go back there. Back there, landing up.
We'll turn downwind, and what we'll do, we're slow enough for flaps, so we'll put them in now.
Yep.
Got Lima X-rays downwind to land 08.
Got Lima X-ray, Roger.
And then we're going to trim for about 50 knots, because that's the speed I want to be on approach.
Radio Golf Bravo Uniform Alpha Oscar, press radio check, and runway 08 left hand, QNH 1026.
Alpha Oscar, pop radio, your readability 5. Runway news to 08 for the left-hand circuit, QNH 1025.
08 left hand circuit.
So we're going to go round that garage, because I think it's a void.
Yep.
Oh no, we cut inside that garage. Right, and down we go. We could probably idle the power from here. Then we just keep the 50 knots with nose.
I think this is the best part of flying.
Yeah.
Really.
Right, so I'll talk to you after landing now, okay?
Yep.
Got Lima X-ray final.
Got Lima X-ray, Roger.
Just trying to avoid it.
Lima X-ray, surface wind 070 degrees, 7 knots.
Got Lima X-ray landing. Feel free to take a video. I mean, it'll be on the YouTube video anyway.
Golf Oscar Lima, dead right descending 08 left hand.
Right, from here we can go idling. I'm just managing the speed with pitch. That'll take us all the way in nicely. Maybe a little bit for power as we get close to the... no, we're not going to need any power, just keep it coming down. There we go, a little round off. I'll hold it off. There we go.
And we're on the ground.
And my stick is all the way back just to take the pressure off the nose wheel a little bit. Got Lima X-ray vacating next left.
Golf Lima X-ray, roger.
Golf Lima X-ray vacated.
Golf Lima X-ray, roger.
Right, we'll go park next to all those other aircraft. That's the visiting area. Perfect.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, they're lovely. And on departure, so we're not allowed to fly over that garage.
Okay.
So we'll take off and we'll be doing similar to what we did at Landmead. A 10 degree left, or a minimum 10 degree left turn.
Because of the safety reasons?
Yeah.
Yep. Alpha Oscar,
There we go.
just caution there.
Open the window.
Danger aircraft coming down the northern taxiway towards the parking area.
Visual with that, Golf Alpha Oscar.
We'll turn in just short of the Bulldog.
Golf Lima X-ray, roger. It's a Bulcow Hotel Whiskey.
Yeah, that one. We'll park nice and close so we don't have to walk very far. A little swing round now.
It now it's quite easy here.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
So this is my line and this is no ring, sorry.
Yeah.
No ring,
There we go. Less of a walk for us.
Golf Oscar Lima downwind 08 left.
Right, little magneto check for us.
Roger.
Magneto's working.